Hello, everyone. Welcome to our first episode of our podcast, Spilling the Spaghetti. I am Chef Kowalski.
I am Chef Song.
And this podcast, we're talking about whatever we want. It can go from your grandmother's carpet to geological events. And today's sponsor, our very first sponsor, is Dingo.club, which is an image board for all you dingo enthusiasts out there. And so first off, our first topic is the obvious one here in the United States.
The season finale of America.
Yeah, possibly season finale. Right now, we're in overtime.
We're in overtime.
Yeah, so the game was November 3rd, and now we're in 8 OT.
Yeah,
something like that. So what's the score right now?
Right now we're still at 264 to 214, and that is according to Google.
Yeah. So honestly, comparing to what it was last night, it's probably over.
Yeah, I think, in 2016, you went to bed that night knowing Donald Trump won. Well, also it was declared.
Or at least he was going to catch up.
Exactly.
Yeah.
This right here is kind of the same thing, but you just have to wait 8 overtimes, to figure it out.
Yeah, definitely.
So we're here now, and I think he has to win Nevada, which is taking an ass long time because they're getting prime shipping, apparently.
Well, what's weird to me is, how you can see, the individual counties?
Yeah.
None of the counties are grayed out, right? So all counties have voted, and they've collected votes from all counties. Well, not all of them, but they've started. It wasn't like in Michigan where there was a certain county. Well, that county. No, so there's this county in Michigan. It's to the north end. So it's mostly red, and there's the little blue one to the left of it. Mm-hmm. But that one's grayed out, unless that's not a county and I'm just crazy. But so what's weird to me is I guess maybe I don't. Anyway, the point is that it's weird that this one isn't over. However, it is 588,000. Well, I'm just rounding to 580,000. Joe Biden over Trump.
8,000 votes ahead.
So unless there's, and they're only 75%. So unless there's 9,000 more people living in Nevada who happen to be Trump supporters, it could be wraps because that's what he needs.
Yeah, that's the only state he needs left to win this election. Trump. If somehow Donald Trump wins Nevada, then Joe Biden needs a prayer in Georgia and Pennsylvania.
Yeah, which, let's see here. In Georgia, it's 97% done.
And speaking of which, I just didn't mean to cut you off here, but
yeah.
CNN,
Joe
Biden's only down 40,000 votes in Georgia.
Really?
And they have 100-something thousand left.
Oh, yeah, he is only down by 40. And they have 100. Oh, interesting.
So he could possibly very well win Georgia as well tonight.
So if he gets Georgia, it's over.
Yeah.
No matter, it'd be over no matter what. Even if Trump, it's the first to 270 anyway.
First 270.
See, that always bothers me. Well, it doesn't matter because 270 is that halfway point or whatever. So it's either Biden gets Nevada or he ends up with one of those states, i.e. the closest one would be either Georgia
or Pennsylvania.
No, it's 51-47 there. That's a little.
Well, they got the vote sticks.
Oh yeah, it's only 88. Yeah. And then North Carolina is a maybe.
I honestly, me personally, I wouldn't go Joe Biden North Carolina. I think Donald Trump's probably gonna win that one.
Right. He had that last night though.
Yeah.
And we were so weird about it. And same thing with a blue Texas, which still bothers me.
But, I'm kind of glad Texas went by being red. That shit kind of weirded me out. I was Texas, what are you doing being blue?
You see, it's gonna be next year. Next election, California's red.
Oh God!
Then there's something wrong.
The world's ending.
You see, but that would be the most 2020 thing. But it's probably looking like Joe Biden. Maybe. Okay, yeah, it's looking like Joe Biden.
It looks like Joe Biden.
Now, unless these states that are looking like Trump, like Pennsylvania, North Carolina, and Georgia, unless these last second, all the mail-in votes come in. UPS trucks, USPS trucks, they come in with the votes and whatever else is needed.
A prayer.
Yeah, a prayer. and he still got Alaska to go too. And they're only at 50%, according to Google. I'm not 100% sure if this map is accurate.
Yeah, because if you go into CNN, there's our 50 253 to 213. So it varies depending on what map you go to.
Yeah, so that's I guess we're getting a little more misinformation because here it's like
just fuck it. One more vote, we're winning.
Yeah, it might as well be. Well, I mean, like in a way, it might as well be over, right? So I guess now you really have to pay attention to what map you're looking at.
Exactly.
So that makes me interested to see what Fox's map would look like.
It's all red.
It's all red.
It's all red.
It's all red.
Donald Trump already has 270.
They skewed it. Yeah, that's what when you lean a little more righty, lefty on your news network, you might want to be a little more biased. I get that. It'd be like with CNN if we saw a blue map.
Yeah.
So, but it looks like Biden's gonna probably win it, unless there's
a Hail Mary that we don't know about.
Oh yeah, it's like a Trevor Lawrence 100 yards. Man blew out his arm just to win not the Super Bowl, whatever it is, the champion. I don't fucking know.
National championship.
Yes, that one. That's a stupid name for it, by the way. Anyway, but yeah, it's probably gonna be Biden. Unless Trump pulls out something crazy, which will be interesting because I think if Biden wins, Trump's not. It's gonna be like how last year when Hillary lost, she was wanting all these recounts, and I feel like that's gonna be the same thing with Trump. Is he's gonna want recounts?
Apparently, he's already filed a court order in Michigan
for. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Because so there's this graph. I'll show this graph here in a second. But so it's a steady increase, right? Like just know what. And for Trump, right? The same thing for Biden. He's a ways off. Steady increase. He's going like that. Slanted. And then all of a sudden, it goes straight up. And I'm thinking, what the hell happened? Because something about that just doesn't seem right. So now there's these talks about like voter fraud or like extra votes that have come in.
Yeah.
And I mean that looks it's suspicious, right? Because when you see that for all states, it's probably like that, just a gradual increase, whatever. But for it to go straight up, that has to mean like a large, unless the only other thing I can think of is a large number of votes were input at the exact same time. Now, I could be wrong on what that is, but that's what it looks like.
Are you talking about for doing counting?
Yeah, counting.
Well, I think one solution is what I'm reading, and I think what may offer a solution is that, like, states like Pennsylvania, there's a bulk of votes that hasn't been counted yet. And so when they do count them, like, I think it was Pennsylvania, majority of the early mail-in votes or just early voting in general is heavily favoring Democratic. And so when you start counting them, you start seeing 100,000 votes, just going Joe Biden, Joe Biden, Joe Biden.
Right.
Which leaves, Donald Trump just, going down. So I think that could possibly be the reason. Is that like on certain states who have those early mail-in votings, you're just seeing a spike because they're heavily favoring, a certain candidate.
Maybe. But it's just weird to me that it's it's so drastic. Like,
yeah,
I get it in Alabama. Right,
Bama.
like I get it in Alabama. That makes sense for something for like that kind of graph. I don't even know where you can find that graph at, honestly. But it makes sense for somewhere like Bama or Alabama, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
To maybe be a little more same thing in California. Right.
There's just a steady increase for your Democratic, and Alabama steady increase for Republican.
Yeah. But when I say steady increase, I mean more slanted up.
Yeah.
But this is straight up.
Yeah, this is vertical.
Like we're not talking.
We're going to the moon, baby.
we're not taking the stairs. We're taking a rocket ship. And so what my theory is, and this is just being conspiracy theorist. All right, I'm pulling what's his name?
Alex Jones.
Alex Jones, right? On how crazy this might sound. I feel like some people believe that maybe the Democrats frauded the votes and inserted a bunch of voters. We put air quotes around voters. So fake ballots. I could see a lot of people saying that.
That will directly play into Trump's narrative of stealing the election.
Yeah, right. So, well, let's be honest. Both these guys doing something shady behind the scenes.
Yeah, of course.
I mean, how do we know that there's not some at least on voting day, and the people that were still in lines, there was not some intimidation?
Yeah.
Like you see across the road, you see some dudes with Trump flags.
This is MAGA country.
Yeah. Or, in California, you might be voting for Trump.
Vote blue, get the poo.
Yeah. But like these guys who, they're directly going up to people and asking like, who are you voting for? And then if you don't say the right thing, you
get heckled and harassed.
Yeah. So that leads me to believe that there's obviously a lot of voter suppression. Like there's no way of stopping it, because a lot of people treat politics and like certain parties as like an ideology. So if you're not voting for who they like, that makes that's you're a bad hombre after that.
Oh, you're a bad hombre.
Yeah, very bad.
You don't want bad hombres.
You don't no bad. As Donald Trump said, we want no bad hombres. Which, what the fuck does that mean?
Bad hombres, Will.
I don't know what is that supposed to be.
You're hombre of the bad.
Oh, okay. Well, so anyway, I think Biden has this in the bag. Honestly, unless Trump pulls out something crazy.
Which, by the way, this is a good segue to a mini section here that I just kind of popped into my head.
Okay.
Biden won Oregon, which is not surprising.
Yeah.
But it's surprising. I don't know if you read the news today. Oregon legalized all hard drugs.
Oh yeah, yeah. Because that is that like a real thing? Like, is that a true, like the source that provided it? Is that a true?
I'm reading it right now from the AP.
What is that?
Associated Press.
Oh, that one. Okay, cool. So what is that? That includes like what? Heroin, meth, cocaine.
Yes.
So you're saying people in Oregon could be carrying around dime bags of like crack?
Now, from what I read, there are some rules about it. You still can get fined and whatnot.
Yeah, but maybe not like
you're not going straight to jail for the rest of your life.
Okay, so what if you have like a massive amount, and we're not talking about intent to sale.
Yeah,
we're just saying they have a lot on them. Like,
so from what I read here, this might or may not answer your question, but it says. This is from the AP, of course. It says the measure completely changes how Oregon's justice system treat those who are found with personal use amounts of hard drugs.
Okay, so maybe it's more about
little dime bag, spicy mayo.
So like you have a little bit on you, slap you with a fine. Now that fine's probably
and that's what it is. It says instead of going to trial and facing possible jail time, a person would have the option of paying $100 fine or attending new addiction recovery centers.
So that's talking about people who use it.
If not with it.
Okay.
But
so
keyword personal amount of use.
So a personal amount could. What does that look like? Like just a little dime bag?
Yeah, probably.
So okay, so if we think about like in California, like a jar of weed that you can buy from a dispensary, right? Would that be considered personal, or do they have weed and all these other ones on a different level?
That's a good question.
Because I'm pretty sure marijuana is considered a Schedule 1, which means addictive, no medical use, and it's the most like dangerous one. That's at least what the federal government says. So my question is, what is their definition of personal use? And are there different rules for people who intend to sell? Do they go to jail? I mean, I at least assume they would go to jail.
All right, so I got your answer. Fox News. So Fox News says only small amount of drugs. Small. Only a small amount of drugs are decriminalized, such as less than a gram of heroin or MDMA. 2 grams of cocaine or methamphetamine, 12 grams of mushrooms, and 40 doses of LSD, oxycodone, and etc.
I'm not hearing DMT in there.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Not hearing the good stuff.
I'm not saying I'm doing it. It's just, I just whatever. So, okay. But why?
I think
it's not like maybe I guess they want to focus more on you know what? I bet it's just so that the jails aren't so crowded.
That's one reason.
That
is a big problem here in this country is overcrowding of jails.
I'm not saying like prisons. I'm saying like maybe more like county jails, stuff like that. Like, you bring a guy like, oh, I pulled in a guy who he got a little dime bag on him. Like,
Yeah.
like just throw him a fine, man. Like, now, unless he's intending to sell it to someone, that's a different thing. But if he just has it on himself, that's different. But I'm pretty sure it's for just for to keep up with the capacity of jails, so like they're not overcrowded, because that is a huge issue. So, but I can honestly see not a world, but like a situation where it becomes too much of an issue. Like you're handing out a little too many fines. And if you're handing out a little too many fines, that means there's a lot of people who are now, I don't want to say taking advantage. So now they feel a little more comfortable going to their dealer, knowing that I'm not going to jail unless you got like a huge amount.
Can you imagine in a heroin shop?
What does that even look like? Like,
we got spoons for sale in here too.
Like
best quality spoons you can buy.
I don't think they would ever make. The only thing I could see them making legal, like nationally, is marijuana.
Yeah.
I can't see a world now. Okay, so maybe if you could figure out I'm not saying there is, right? But if you could figure out a way to put hard drugs like, I mean, I think cocaine's already used in the medical field, but I think it's a very certain kind, and like the quality of it's all weird. But my thought is that if you can figure out a way to maybe not make it as bad, right? You might be able to put it towards medical use, but I could never see them saying like, yeah, meth is perfectly okay for you to use recreationally. Like, I can't see a world where anyone would find that okay. And even if it was legal, I'm sure still people would say like, no, I don't want to use that, because I mean, we've seen all those videos when we were younger about the people who are all looking all messed up. So, but that is interesting.
I just want to say that as a kid, do you remember like the whole "Say No to Drugs" campaign?
Mm-hmm.
Dude, fuck that campaign. I have yet to have a stranger offer me free drugs.
You know what? You're right. No one's. It's always, hey, you looking for some fun, and then you're like, sure, and they're like, all right, $20. I'm like, $20 fucking dollars.
The fucking word "free" needs to be taken out of there.
Yeah, right. So like, if I'm gonna have fun, I'm gonna go to swing set. I mean, when I'm talking about, I'm speaking of like, if I was looking, I'm gonna go on swing. I'm gonna go play in the backyard. I'm gonna do that. Like, damn.
Yeah, I just feel like I was lied to.
But
I've yet to have somebody offer me free drugs. I mean, not that I'll do them.
Yeah,
I'm just saying like that has yet to happen.
Yeah, you know what? In my time on this world, I can't think of a time where
a random person just say, hey.
Yeah, like no one's ever came up to me and said, you want some crack?
And here's the thing. They don't call them drugs. They have other names for them, kids.
Like party favors.
Or just, just not drugs.
Yeah.
What the fuck is a drug? You want some drugs?
That's so broad. You want some NyQuil?
Yeah. You want some Tylenol?
Yeah. Like, so, yeah. That is a true point. I have never in my life. But that is interesting that Oregon would do that. And the only benefit I can see is people in jails.
Yeah, and I would assume this will also help on the war of drugs, air quotes around that.
Yeah, because that's never going to end.
Yeah, I think we're lost that war.
Eventually, we should just so eventually, the enemy is going to be my Pepto-Bismol.
Oh, dude.
And I can't live without my Pepto-Bismol. I love me some Pepto. Never mind, I'm not going to say that. But, that's definitely very interesting. I guess, honestly, I think that's going to be a thing that we have to see what comes of that within the next 2 years.
So, Oregon, are we going to have cocaine dispensaries?
I don't think they're going to go that far. I think it's going to be more.
Called the Snow Shop?
The Snow Shop. That's awful. All right. Let's move away from
drugs.
Drugs. The weird things that, you know what they're doing? You know what? They're keeping up with the motto of Portland, though. Keep Portland weird. They're really, you know what, these guys, they really know what they're doing. But let's move away from that. Let's move away from the election, because it is a stressful time. It can really, depending on who is in the office and their ideas do go through, that can affect a lot of people. And we're not around to always think about that. So let's move on. So, Mr. Soul. You had a quick
Just call me Soul.
Son, Soul. We came up with these names in 5
How disrespectful for you to disrespect my name.
All right, so what's your name?
Again. Sung.
Sung. Sorry, not Seoul. Mr. Sung.
What if I call you Calabasas?
Calabasas.
Sounds like Kowalski.
Carol Baskin. Anyway.
Hey, are you cute kittens and was it cool kittens and cats, tigers, whatever the fuck it is?
I don't know. That show was a fever dream.
She really did kill her husband. Just throwing it out there.
She did kill her husband.
There's no way.
It's all the evidence.
Yeah.
I mean, then again, we're gonna forget in like 3 years anyway.
Yeah. She's on Dancing with the Stars, by the way.
Ew.
Yeah.
Wait, not you. I don't know how to feel about that.
I don't know either.
Did she win?
No.
Well, whatever. All right, Mr. Sung, Mr. Chef Sung, you got something cooking up in the
I do. I got something.
kitchen?
I got some in the pot.
Yeah, tell us what you got in the pot. What's Chef Special today? What is it?
Fucking tech companies, man.
All right, tech companies.
We interact with them every single day.
Okay.
Every day. Whether it's from using Google, your phone, your laptop, your iPad,
Okay.
whatever. You're using them. And I feel like companies know this, obviously, because they keep making new products. But I feel like it's the usage of them is what's being exploited.
Okay. So are you saying? So like, let's take a company like Amazon.
Yes.
All right, owned by the richest man in the world, right? That's correct.
Yes.
Okay.
Is.
Yeah.
200 and something billion right now.
200 big ones.
200 big smacks.
Would you? So when you're saying like abusing power, influence, all that stuff, are you meaning that they're practically a monopoly?
Well, depending on the company, yes.
Okay.
Amazon for sure.
Yeah.
I mean,
would you also throw Google into that one?
oh hell yeah,
Yeah.
dude.
Same
when
thing.
you want to look up something, what do you say?
Say I'm gonna go
Google it.
Yeah, I'm gonna Google it.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's the no
There's a reason-
one says Bing.
Who the fuck uses Bing?
You know what? There's been a few times in my life where I was like, you know what? I'm a DuckDuckGo it.
The only time you Bing is to Bing Google.
You're right. And the only time you ever do Internet Explorer, it's to
Download
look
Chrome.
at Google. Or you know what? Firefox is on the rise.
Firefox not that bad.
I mean, I like to keep Firefox. There's every now and then where Google is a shitter and doesn't want me
Yeah.
to work with it. So anyway, let's get back on topic.
But yeah, definitely a monopoly in certain cases. I mean, you have Amazon shutting down every small shop there is in your town.
Yeah.
And, you know, there's really no other place to buy online things anymore because, well, Amazon.
Yeah. I remember, you know what? I remember when eBay, that was the place to online
Dude,
shop.
the early 2000s, that was the shit.
Yeah, that was the place to online shop. Now, I mean, it wasn't just bidding. You could still buy things. But that's not the thing anymore.
It's not. I mean, there are some things where you might go on eBay, but
there's very small, like shoes and stuff like that.
But it's just way more convenient. You go Amazon.
Yeah.
And the thing, to expand on Amazon, which you know how much I talk about Amazon and
Yeah.
their glorious leader.
And you're I'm telling you, the man is going to buy an island and start his own nation. It's gonna happen.
But Amazon started off as we all know, just a site that sells books.
Yeah.
And then at some point, he started fucking around, started selling everything.
Yeah.
That's literally why it's called A through Z. That's the logo.
Yeah.
And so
They got lobsters on there.
I got lobster. And I was going to get to that. So now you can have what's known as Amazon grocery shopping. They have that now.
Yeah. Yeah, because my girlfriend she knows someone who does does a lot of food shopping through Amazon. And she's always telling me about it. And I'm like, why would you okay, I get with Uber how they deliver groceries.
Yeah.
I don't understand why you would want why you want your groceries shipped through Amazon, you know, instead of someone bringing them. I mean, the same idea, bring it to your house, but something about ordering your food through Amazon, unless it's a packaged food or a large quantity, that doesn't sound right.
And it's just that they're taking a lot of, I won't say revenue because they're all being done companies, but they're taking other places that you normally do your shopping and wrapping it all in one.
Right.
And so you're creating a space where there's no competition.
Okay.
And so if there's no competition, who are you going to?
You're right. Okay.
That just increased their wealth and their glorious leaders billions of dollars.
So could you know how Google doesn't look to buy, I mean, they buy companies. They buy more tech companies.
Yeah.
But they don't look to buy restaurants.
No.
And mom and pop shops and stuff like that.
No.
Well, most of the time. They try to partner with them and help connect and get their business
Exactly.
out there.
They help to get them on your phone.
Yeah.
So you know who they are. So therefore you can go to them.
Like in that movie The Internship?
Yes.
Yeah, so what they did in the end. Could you see a way that, or a world, whatever, where Amazon would decide, all right, let's take these established businesses. I'm not saying bring them into the fold, but let's help them advertise. Let's help them get the word out of their product, or maybe make a partnership and use Amazon. Say it's like Amazon's the marketplace, right? And the individual businesses are like the stalls or like at a farmer's market, you have people come in. They come in there and they just they're like the middlemen. They're getting the products to the people and they're helping you sell it.
I mean, that's kind of what they're doing now.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't say as help advertising or whatever.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, at that point, you're advertising for the competition.
Okay. Yeah, that's right.
You're right. So what they're doing now is they're doing something similar to that. I mean, you can go in there and sell, whatever you want to sell up there on Amazon.
Yeah.
Because Amazon gets a nice cut of it. But to help advertise or whatever, no. That just defeats the purpose of, Amazon itself. But Google, I mean, they're doing that now. I mean, you see a lot of Google commercials, advertising other stores.
Yeah.
Because Google is more about using its service and I want to use images or shopping or places.
Yeah, like everything throughout COVID, you see all these commercials about them advertising like, hey, here's this business, you can get a contactless delivery, and you can even, I think you can even do a little shopping through it. Like that's why they have a shopping tab on there, because it brings up other businesses, whether it be big or small.
Exactly.
So I mean, yeah, that's definitely so. I guess on the other spectrum of things, when you have a company like Apple,
yes.
I don't hear a single thing about them buying companies.
They do, but they just usually keep on the wraps because not a lot of people know about them. Well,
yeah.
Other companies, because they're usually very small. And also, you just really don't. It's really weird. Like you hear about when Google makes an acquisition.
Yeah, or Microsoft.
Because Microsoft just bought a gaming studio.
Bethesda.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
that was huge. Like no one was
seeing that coming.
Yeah, like that was. I remember when I first saw that, I'm like, so does this make Fallout and Skyrim and Doom exclusive now?
Apparently, Fallout will still be for PlayStation.
Oh yeah, they'd be stupid to do something like that.
But back to the point, I mean, you hear when those companies buy other companies, but not really Apple. And I think, well, for one, like I said, that's probably how they just downplay it or not advertise it.
Right.
But I think Apple's in this weird state where it's just Apple. Yeah. There's no competition really here in America besides Samsung, and I mean it's Apple. They're held to like a different pedestal as such. Just like Apple, they can't do no wrong. I get that. Like they don't necessarily need to acquire the big companies because they've done so well for themselves. They're the richest company ever to exist. At $2 trillion.
Jesus Christ. I mean, maybe Jeff Bezos would buy them.
Yeah.
If he had $2 trillion, though.
Probably does.
He's only at $400 billion. Which, I mean, it's still a lot of money. I'm just saying. Like, so, but yeah, like they're their own thing. And they don't need
to buy another company and develop what they can already do.
Yeah. And I mean, and I can't see a world where they could end up as a monopoly.
I think right now, the reason why they're not is because, you still have Google at play, you still have Samsung. Mm-hmm. So that's a whole other conversation in that sense. But monopoly-wise, it's more of their market.
Yeah.
With Epic Games on the App Store, that's their monopoly.
Yeah.
And that's also the same thing with Google. It's basically, hey, you can't have your own, market.
Yeah.
You got to go through me.
You can't have your own market within our market.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, because I remember if you were to buy, it was Clash of Clans. If you were to buy gyms, you were buying them directly through iTunes.
Exactly.
Right? Whereas with Fortnite on the phone, when you bought the V-Bucks credits, I don't know.
I don't play Fortnite.
I played it like two, 3 times. I was like, this is just boring.
So when you bought the Bucks, you bought it from Epic Games.
Yeah, it wasn't something on iTunes.
Exactly.
Which I'm pretty sure, like they said, like it's in our agreement with the company. If you want to have an app on here, that's great. Let's do it.
Yeah.
However,
you gotta go through the rest, big boy.
we gotta make a little money. Yeah.
How do you think we got these $2 trillion over here?
Yeah, they didn't get $2 trillion out of nowhere. I'm telling you, I'm sure. Clash of Clans, all those big games that had all those microtransactions, really helped them.
Yeah.
Like they saw. I don't want to call it a niche, but they saw a thing that, wow, the game. It's not like Apple's making games, but I'm saying they see the gaming industry, mobile gaming for that matter, and the ideas of how so we make a free game, but you gotta pay some.
Wait, and the thing is like that. You ever seen that South Park episode about freemium, whatever?
Yeah, freemium. Yeah.
And it's basically, while the game is free, you really can't enjoy the game
unless you pay
to get the upgrades and whatnot.
Yeah,
which one makes money for the company and makes money for Apple.
Yeah, and all you benefit from is whatever you get.
You just get like a skin.
Yeah,
that's it.
And you're like me, who like 2 years later, you think back to when
that was a waste of money.
I'd like $30 right now, and then you remember, you spent $30 on 2K packs. Maybe that wasn't a good idea because 2K, that certain 2K game is now irrelevant
because they come out the new one every year.
Yeah. So anyway, we're way off topic from talking about tech companies and all that, but going back to it, like you never see Apple buying the big companies. I'm sure they bought. I'm sure they bought.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, they probably buy small things, and the only point is to get patents.
I mean, they recently bought a weather app.
Okay.
Weather company. So I mean, they're out here buying small things. Here's a list of some of them. They bought a couple acquisitions from here. Silk Labs, which I remember that one.
Okay.
Laser Like, Buddy Build. They bought Shazam, apparently.
What was Shazam? Is that the one that where
the music?
Oh yeah. You hold your phone up and then it finds, which by the way is the best thing ever. Now if it could do humming.
I tried that today and it didn't work.
It didn't work?
No.
Oh, okay. Well, if it could do humming, that'd be
apparently good. Google does, though. Apparently that's a new feature in Google. With the microphone, you can hum into it now.
Really?
It didn't work for me, though. But
yeah, I don't think it... something about that just seems a little too advanced.
Yeah.
To be able to pick up humming.
Jeff Bezos, he'll get there soon enough.
Oh, yeah. Jeffy will do it. Mr. Jeff, if you're listening to this, make that, please.
And Dark Sky is the one I was telling you about.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they do make acquisitions, but you usually just don't hear about them.
Right.
And these are some big worth properties. There's one here, Intel smartphone modem business. Okay, that's the modems. $1 billion right there. That's how much it's worth.
That's a lot of money.
$200 million for this thing called XNOR. I don't know how to pronounce it. I had to spell it out.
Okay.
That's worth $200 million.
200 big ones.
Yeah. Or Dialog Semiconductor, $600 million. I mean, they're buying companies. It's just that you usually don't hear it,
and we don't know it.
Oh, Beats. They bought them for $3 billion.
Oh yeah, they have Beats. My dumbass did it. Oh, you know what? That makes so much. You know what? That makes so much more sense. Like when you go to an Apple store and there's a section for Beats.
Well, apparently this is like very far off. Just getting on the tangent here. They're phasing Beats out because they come with their own headphones out. Yeah.
Apple's phasing out Beats.
Yeah.
Oh, because they're making the. Okay, yeah. Okay. So, is Beats gonna still make Beats or? Oh, so maybe they're gonna go back to their own separate.
No, they won't be separate. They'll still be
a part of Apple. Okay.
It's just that Apple have its own thing instead of just saying, "Hey, buy Beats only."
Yeah, I remember when those were the shit.
Dude, I had a pair.
What was it was the one that almost everyone had were the.
Was it Solos?
Like they didn't go over your ears.
Oh.
Or were those Studios?
Studios went over your ears.
Okay, so the Solos were the ones.
They're like circles, perfect circles.
Yeah,
Solos.
I remember. When was it? 7th, 8th grade. And when Beats were just the coolest thing on it. Dr. Dre was
7th, 8th, and 9th grade.
That was like the time to have, even though you look stupid for instead of just wearing earbuds, like you look kind of stupid. But they were so cool. I remember it was during the summer between 7th and 8th grade. And I was like, Mom, I really want some Beats. And she said, well, okay, so that would be your birthday present. And I remember getting it was the black with the red B Solos. And I remember, we've completely gone off topic, but anyway. So I remember getting them and tried them on. And I was like, oh, what's so great about these? Like, my $20 Turtle Beaches are just as good.
So, I had the opposite experience. I got some Studios. They were blue.
So, you got the better ones.
I put them on. Chef Kalowski, I got to tell you, I feel like Dr. Dre.
Okay.
I feel like I produced Eminem album. I can go in the studio the next day.
you
crank out a full album.
It's like that. It's like what there was. I think it might have been a Beats commercial, but it was with LeBron James.
Could be.
Yeah, and he's sitting there with his laptop, and then I think he puts on Beats headphones and he starts rocking his head out to whatever song Drake made at the time.
Have you seen the one with the I'm the man?
Yeah.
That's
a good commercial.
That sold me. I already had a pair of Beats. I was like, I gotta buy a new pair.
Yep.
Fuck it.
Something about that commercial gave me chills. I was
because it was Kevin Garnett in there. He was in one of them. I think it was Kevin Garnett.
Really?
Yeah, I think he was in one of them.
That man, look at him go. All right. Well, I
think since you mentioned Kevin Garnett there, we're just fucking up the table here. Since you mentioned Kevin Garnett, that brings into topic, which is sports.
Yeah. So, sorry. Hold on 1 second. Sorry, we got some shit going on. So.
Why didn't you say anything?
Whatever. Let's keep going. So, something that I've been thinking about for a while is a lot of sports seasons are coming to a close. We had MLB recently. You had NBA, NHL, NFL still on the go, but they're getting closer to being over with. But so something that I'm wondering is what's next, because you had all these people, they had all these leagues who were they were making adjustments for the right now, and something everyone's still afraid of is the second wave of COVID, which has that started now? Are we in it right now? I don't know. I feel like we're still in the same situation that we were back in June-ish. So my question is, what's next for sports in general and what they're going to do? Because are they going to try to get back into that normal schedule? Or has COVID changed the way that sports are played in terms of the season, amount of games, fans? Well, I think they would try to bring back all fans. So that's something I'm really interested to see, because we have, like the NBA, they're taking forever to figure out what they're going to do. And it's looking like December 22nd is the day. But
they have a vote tomorrow, don't they?
Yeah, they have a vote tomorrow. It's probably going to be December 22nd. But and we know about them. But like MLB hasn't even, I don't even think they've considered what to do next year.
I haven't heard anything about what their plans are.
Yeah, I think they're more of like, okay, season's over with. Let's just kind of hang out for a little bit. But, and same thing for football. I mean, what? They end in January?
Well, technically they end in February. That's what Super Bowl is.
Okay.
Playoffs is usually around that time. But they haven't really said regarding next season.
Okay.
Of anything permanent or, speculation yet.
Yeah. So my question is, what's next? Because like we know what's now.
Yeah.
But you always got to be looking for the future.
I think until it is unanimously understood that we are in the clear.
Yeah.
And that we're back to quote unquote normal before, I don't know, COVID.
Yeah.
Sports will somewhat resemble what we have now.
Maybe a tad bit modified.
Maybe just a little bit modified, better suited. Because this is our first year doing this.
Right. And it's not like we can keep doing bubbles like the NBA did, because while yes it was a good idea, that's a temporary. That's not a long term.
That's not a permanent solution to this.
Because imagine, okay, so there are how many? There's like 300 NBA players, right?
Yes.
Not all those teams went to the bubble. Imagine, and they had a pretty sizable complex that they were using. Something to imagine is a football team. Yeah. Which is like what, 100 dudes per team? Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's not even, you still got staff.
They have a lot of staff.
Exactly.
I mean, for good reasons.
I mean, you got the main players, you got the bench, the staff, the coaching. I mean, you got a lot more players just about than more than NBA.
And so you can't make a bubble for those guys. No. You could probably do it for baseball. And that's a big man. And you could definitely, I think you could do it for soccer. But I don't think bubbles will work. And even for the NBA, like there was a lot of moments where it was looking like the season was good because it's just them. No family. They can barely go anywhere except for the hotel area. If they're going to leave and they come back, they have to quarantine, which is bad for the team because what if that player, so like Lou Williams, he decides, hey, I'm going to go to Magic City strip club.
Hey, you wouldn't get wings, man. He wouldn't get wings.
I mean, they look pretty good now when a picture was showed. But
lemon pepper Lou.
But the point is that when he got back, he had to quarantine for,
was it 5 days? Something like that?
Yeah, 5 days, and I think they had 2 games with it. In those, I mean, the Clippers were they just were disappointing as hell. But the point is that within that time, they could have used him. So let's say there's another bubble for NFL. And let's say Patrick Mahomes is like, you know what?
I want some wings.
Let's just assume it's on Orlando. He's like, you know what? I want some wings. Even though he has a wife, or soon to be wife, and all this. Hypotheticals here. He decides, I'm going to go get some wings. Comes back. They got a game. It's kind of an important game. Any game in football seems to be important.
Yeah.
Like, that's Patrick Mahomes.
He's your star player.
Like, no, then again, I like to think he's smart enough. However, again, hypotheticals. If he doesn't play, pretty good chance you're going to lose.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, or if Messi decides, you know what,
what's the wings?
What's the wings? What else Barcelona got? As
a soccer fan, I can name some players, but you need Messi.
Yeah.
Just like the Chiefs need Mahomes.
Yeah.
And I think it's kind of similar to NBA. I mean, granted, anything can happen during a sports game. I mean, you might can get the dub.
Yeah.
But granted, you still need your star player.
Mm-hmm.
So
I don't know. I don't think another bubble's gonna happen.
Yeah.
I think what will happen. I think everyone's going to try to do something like what the NFL is doing in terms of essential staff is on the field. Yeah, that's players, medical, coaching, this and that. But non-essential is going to be a little bit away. Maybe they keep medical staff in the back and maybe have like some trainers, just a little stretch here and there. And, not full fans, but small pockets of fans spread out in the stands. And that works for football, but for like in baseball and soccer to an extent, unless it's an indoor stadium. But it's when we're talking about indoor stadiums. So like basketball and hockey, I feel like it's a little harder because now you're in an enclosed space. Now, granted, it doesn't matter enclosed, non-enclosed. You're still up against people, so it's still about spacing. But I feel like in an enclosed space, it'd be a lot different, where it's less. So let's say your stadium holds 10,000 people, and you want to allow, and in a normal outdoor stadium, you want to allow 4,000. You probably got to cut that in half, maybe even more for an indoor stadium.
Yeah. So you're so close proximity to each other.
Because like shit travels in the air. It's not like an outdoor where
it's wind, it might blow it up or something.
Maybe.
Reaching there, but
you hope it does. But I'm so concerned with like what's next, and let's say a second wave does come through. Do you go back to a bubble? Do you cancel? Do you delay? How long is said delay?
I think the answer depends honestly on the sport.
Okay. And what they're willing to do.
Okay. I feel like NBA, depending on how far of a stride we make between now and let's say the next season, whenever that is, so December 22nd, they're not going to be back to normal by then. It's just not feasible.
Yeah.
But let's say next season, the season after next.
Okay.
That might could be a change there. But I could honestly foresee them maybe doing a bubble again. Not for the entire season, but do
what they did already.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. That's the thing is there was a lot of issues in the current bubble. I mean, as a fan, I can't see how it was that bad. I mean, you're staying in 5-star hotels. You're getting
top treatment.
Top treatment. The only issue I can see is like, a lot of those guys have family.
Yeah.
They got friends. And so the only thing you can do is play basketball, which on one hand, that's not the worst thing in the world. I mean, no, you still have the facilities there, like entertainment and everything. But If that was already an issue, I couldn't imagine if they heard, oh, we got to go a second bubble.
What, the full 70, 80 games they're gonna play this year?
Yeah, like there's no way.
What I always assume, that probably like the NFL. You travel,
Yeah.
but you got to take some mandatory tests,
Uh-huh.
and if you fail one, you just can't go with the team.
Maybe what they could do is take a specific region of the country, look for places where COVID is not high, and has also the most amount of facilities. So let's take, for instance, the Southeast. Let's just say in this hypothetical
Hypo what, Will?
hypothetical situation that that in this world, Corona isn't that bad in the Southeast. Now, it probably is because we see what Florida's doing down
Florida's
there.
dying down there.
Yeah,
probably.
Florida is falling apart. That is the Walking Dead right down there. So, and we got a fair amount of sports facilities because we are the South. That's the big thing, especially for football. Like, football could thrive down here,
For sure.
in my opinion. So let's just take that into consideration. Maybe you have them temporarily move to the Southeast and designated states for that matter. And maybe your team is designated. Okay, so let's say the Knicks, they get put in somewhere in South Carolina, right? Or maybe they get thrown in Charlotte along with the Hornets. Same thing with football, which this would be funny. The Saints get stationed in Atlanta.
Oh, God.
There's already a civil war right there, or some shit like that. But the point is, I don't think another bubble is gonna cut it,
I don't think so either.
because it just doesn't seem like if it barely worked. Now it did succeed.
I mean, I feel like you said, I feel like it worked, but it squeaked by ever so slightly.
Yeah, and so the thought is that if the NBA, not even the NBA, if any player, they see like a bubble, and for the NBA, they'd be like, again,
Yeah.
like, damn, like no, that's not what
It's
not what they want to do, and understandably so. I don't want to be stuck in a bubble where I have to wait X amount of time to be able to see someone other than my teammates physically,
Yeah.
like my teammates and all them. So I don't think a bubble is going to work. I think it's really all going to depend on playing in relatively normal circumstances and the same settings that they're already playing in the same stadiums and all that, with limited fans. They'll probably figure out a way to where, like when everyone's exiting, it gets really hard to walk through. They're going to figure out some way to, maybe the NFL's already doing this, and maybe as bad as the NFL of an organization as they seem sometimes, and
The no fun league.
yeah, the no fun league. That's why we're watching XFL here. But so maybe they figure out a way. All right, we can figure out a way to have fans not we'll put fans in groups, and we will escort those groups out in a certain way. Maybe before you can even buy a ticket, you have to get a test.
Yeah.
Or before you go to said game, you have had to bring something that proves that you are tested negative. Now, then again, at the time of the test, that might be negative, and you might have picked up something. But the point is that at least some kind of precaution was taking place. So, couldn't tell you. It's all up to
That's I think the big thing is that we still got sports this year,
yeah.
and I feel like that is a step, a big
Yeah.
step, because I mean there was a point where we thought we could have sports.
Yeah, because I remember it was in March where everything shut down.
Dude, you could hear a pin drop.
Yeah, I remember. And then who was it? Ernie Johnson came out with that speech message. I wasn't going to call it a documentary. Just talking about sport and what it means to people, not as just entertainment.
But it's lively. Sports matters a lot to certain people.
Yeah, especially to distract. So the election. People and the people who are stressed out about the election, they look to sport
as part of relievement. It's just something to take your mind off other things.
Yeah, relievement to take your mind. I don't like using the word distraction. That just seems like not 100% right. But I definitely think that sport doesn't have to, but it's very important that it stays going. However, the players themselves are also citizens, people who live in this country. You know, they also the ones who are internationally. So you also have to take into account, are they going to be safe too?
Yeah.
Which it's not entirely possible because, you know, dudes are touching each other.
Yeah.
Like they're rubbing up.
They're physical sports. That's what they're called that.
Yeah, like MRSA, I remember when that was on the rise. Now that's not even a thing anymore. Which COVID's a little different from MRSA, but the point is that I think sports are going to continue. I think they're going to look to each other and look for things that they can take away from them. I think the NBA is going to look towards MLB and towards the NFL and the way they handled things. I think the NFL and MLB are going to look to the NBA. Everyone's going to be looking at each other and be like, I like this thing. Let's use that. Yeah. However, I don't like that thing. We ain't using that.
They fucked up over there.
Or maybe, and this is if all the commissioners get together, they're like, you know what? Let's come up with a universal rule for sports. Now, it's a little harder because each sport is different and each stadium size is different and all that. We'll figure out what is a universal rule that we can use that we all follow to keep the fans, the players, staff safe, but they're able to play the sport that they want to play. And it's time. It's honestly sitting down and thinking. Honestly, I mean, that's really it I got on that one.
We got it this year, and I think I wouldn't say we're lucky, but we did just enough to get it this year. And so if we keep it up, wear our fucking mask like it's required.
Yeah.
That's a big step.
Like,
if you want football, if you want basketball, wear your fucking mask.
Yeah, right? Like,
it's that simple.
Honestly, I don't like wearing it. Wear it when I go out and all this stuff. It sucks. Don't get me wrong. But damn it, it's just a part of life right now.
My thing is like, if you don't like, I don't like wearing it. Nobody likes wearing it, let's be honest.
Yeah.
Don't think about it just for you. Think about it for other people whose lives you might be saving.
Yeah.
And think of the big picture here, the big spectrum.
Yeah.
If you wear it, we can get sports.
Yeah.
We can get other things.
And later, and just hopefully, we can go back to normal.
Exactly.
Yeah. Like, I'd love to go see my grandparents right now. But they don't want anyone around. Christmas canceled there. It's gone. Thanksgiving, it's gone.
Never heard of that.
We're not getting together anymore because of the fact that they're scared of it.
Yeah.
So, and even if we wore masks. But the point is, if you want sports back, just like I do, I want things to go right back to normal. Where, the big part of sports is the fans. Like, watching, I remember soccer in the German league. Watching soccer without fans is the weirdest thing.
Oh yeah.
Like when they score a goal, a lot of it pans on the fans' reaction because people are going wild. They're throwing things. They're jumping. They're hugging. They're beating.
Setting off flares.
Yeah. they're just going wild. And that's a part of. And I think that's a part of like the hype that the players get. They see these guys. They're happy. And they get all this energy. And without that, a goal is just a ball in the net.
Yes. And
that's just all it is.
Even with the players celebrating, they feed off that reaction. Like in the NBA, that having those fans really do matter. They play an integral part of, the sport, like football. Fans on defense really matter.
Yeah. It's that energy.
Exactly.
You're playing for someone. You're playing for your city, your town, whatever. And in the case of the Toronto Raptors, you're playing for a country
that you're not even in.
Yeah, well, yeah, definitely. But so honestly, if we wear our masks, if we take the right precautions, things are going to go right back to the way they were, and I think sports are going to be able to make a better decision on how can we start moving back to normal? What are the adjustments that we can make that is going to help the fan experience? And also keep the players in mind because they're the ones doing it. Even though they're getting paid millions of dollars to play a game, they're still people too. They got health problems too.
They got families they got to worry about. So
yeah.
They're no different from us. It's just they're getting paid to do a sport.
Yeah, I'd love to get paid.
Oh yeah,
$15 million like that damn Danny Green. But yeah, that's a later topic for a later time. But the point is that I think I hope sports are going to go back to normal. I'm just curious to know what are the plans for next seasons. Is MLB going to continue what to do? Is the NBA going to try to make it so fans can come? What does the NFL even have they even thought of what next season, or are they just so concerned more about what this year? Whatever NHL does, I don't keep up with them. What is soccer? What is soccer at least in Europe? Because I haven't heard anything about MLS. I don't even know what they're doing.
They're playing right now.
They are?
Yeah.
Why? Oh well, not why, but like, what are they doing?
I don't really watch MLS. I watch European soccer.
Yeah. I won't lie to you, this topic has kind of gone all around the place. It's really hard to stay on topic here, guys.
I think they're doing capacity based off stadiums, I guess.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. MLS will allow some fans in some markets, commissioner says.
Okay. So, you know what's interesting? So, you've seen a Atlanta United game on TV, right?
Yes.
Like, fans that are integral to that game. Like, that, I won't lie, I'm not the biggest soccer. I keep up with it because it's cool. I'm not the biggest soccer fan. The only reason I want to go to an Atlanta United game is the experience.
Yeah, I feel like
going to a concert.
Yeah, any soccer. Well, I've been to a couple. I think the biggest one I've been to was the Gold Cup when it was in Atlanta. That's when U.S. played Jamaica and Panama.
Jamaica, man.
Played Mexico. And while the game was, of course it was a game, so you enjoy the game. But it's really the experience. It's really the fans that makes the game.
Yeah.
Like, if I would have went there during the pandemic, let's say the pandemic, was there, hypothetically speaking, it wouldn't have been the same. I wouldn't have enjoyed it.
Yeah.
It would just been like, oh, okay, game.
Yeah.
But having the fans, especially, from different backgrounds, supporting their team, it was amazing. Like, you get to experience that.
Yeah, I get that. I 100% get that. And like I've said a million times, I think it's all just waiting. We see what they're going to do. I honestly can't think of, it's either, right now my thought is either it's going back to normal, right, for next season. I can't even, or whatever modifications. I can't think of any other modifications than what people have now.
Yeah.
And for the NBA at least, like, I know they're not doing another bubble.
Yeah, I just can't.
I don't know.
Well, I think, spoiler alert, I think they're not, because apparently the Raptors are looking for a stadium to play in.
They weren't going to go to Kentucky. Was it Kentucky?
The Kentucky Center or something like that.
They weren't going to the Kentucky Center. I think it was an issue due to
some events that happened there in the city and whatnot.
Yeah. Where they didn't feel comfortable playing there. So the other place was actually in New Jersey, taking the old stadium of the Nets and playing there. Which that'll be interesting to see. The New Jersey Raptors for a season. That would be crazy. Bring some basketball back to New Jersey. Well, so anyway, this is the first episode of the podcast. It's probably not the great. I won't lie to you. We're still learning. I think we spent the first day. We literally made a whole episode yesterday, and we
fucked it up.
Oh yeah,
we fucking suck at this.
This one probably sucks too.
Oh god, yeah.
But the point is that we're learning. It's a learning process. Quality will eventually come once we figure what we're doing.
See, I feel like the podcast is called Spilling the Spaghetti, right?
Yeah.
And our goal is to get 5-star spaghetti. Right now,
that Gordon Ramsay spaghetti.
We're using Great Value brand spaghetti.
Ugh.
Even we're probably using Dollar General brands. They even have a brand.
Do they even have?
I don't think
you
so.
You can buy food. Oh yeah, you can buy food.
We're using leftovers.
Ooh.
From a crackhead.
And we're trying to bring you that 5-star cuisine that was made by God himself
in Italy. But right now, like I said, we're
working with Great Value.
Yeah,
and we're working the stars. Rome wasn't built in a day, nor was this podcast. So I'm Chef Lebowski.
I am Chef Song,
and this was the first episode of the podcast.